Welcome back to a very, very Merry Christmas Ty and That Guy podcast. And we are so thankful to be alive and to be here to talk about this wonderful show. And ho, 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 everybody. And thank you guys for joining us. I hope you guys are having a Merry Christmas. Ty, this is my good friend, Ty Franck. And how is your Christmas going so far?
It's cold and it's been hailing outside. So about normal. That's what Christmas is, right? Normal. Cold and hailing.
Yeah, and you know how we like to ride fast and lose. So when before we started this, I ran and grabbed a Christmas hat out of my kid's chest, and then I was about to say, Ty, go grab your Christmas hat and your Christmas mug, but I can pretty much guarantee there's not a Christmas mug or hat anywhere in the vicinity of that house. Moments like these, I'm like, man, Ty's really, he doesn't like his family much, doesn't have kids. He's really got it figured out. I hope nobody in your family listens to this podcast, by the way.
No. They all hate me as much as I hate them.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I've got it boiled down to one thing. I've got a wife. She and I both like each other. That's it. That's what I got. It's boiled down to that tiny.
That's all you need
of family.
Yeah. Friendships are a waste of time, but you got your wife. I think it would be funny, like since it's Christmas in the spirit of Christmas, if you did like a spoof of those It's a Wonderful Life movies, where they take you out and they give you everything, like everything you ever wanted, and I feel like, and you'd be like, this is great. Thanks, guys. Like, wait, no. You're supposed to learn something and go back. Like, nah, I'm good. I'm much like it better here.
Oh, wait. If I don't have the family, I'm rich and have a hot wife. And, no, okay. Yeah, that sounds great. I'll take that.
Like, wouldn't it be funny if that angel in the bar on It's a Wonderful Life went up to Jimmy Stewart and and got rid of his family and all his responsibility, and Jimmy Stewart was like, yeah, this is great.
They did a Simpsons that had that where the ghost comes to Homer and shows him what everybody's life would be like if he and Marge had never gotten married and had kids, and like everybody's happy. Like Marge is rich. Like she's rich. She lives in this huge mansion. She's playing tennis. Yeah, I mean it's like everybody's got a great life. Yeah.
Today we're talking about retrograde. We should be talking about. Let's cut through this episode and let's get to the Christmas spirit. But who wrote Retrograde? Do you know?
Matt Rasmussen was a writer's assistant for us. And actually, was he he actually started out as our writer's PA, did that for a couple of years, got promoted up to writer's assistant, did that for a couple of years, and then this year, the fourth season, was the first time we actually gave him a script assignment. So, yeah, Matt, he's an OG on The Expanse.
Miss you, Matt. So the definition of retrograde is directed or moving backwards. In astrology, it means apparent backwards movement of a planet. Apparent backwards movement because the planet's not. It's seemingly moving backwards.
Yeah.
As a noun, it means a degenerate person, aka Ty Franck type. So yes. My question to you is: did you name it in this way? Because I feel like there's a lot of descent into chaos with Mars and with in Bobby's life specifically, but also on Illis, they're kind of falling into chaos in that way. So is it kind of, that's the, what I'm learning, Ty? I'm learning in my vast knowledge of English and writing that the titles mean something that has something to do with the theme and the meaning of the thing. Did you know that?
I'm just now learning that. Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
You explaining that to me, it suddenly all clicked into place. I suddenly understand. Yeah,
it's pretty amazing.
So, the way it works with the scripts is the writer will put, if they think they have a good title for the episode, they'll put a title that they like on the episode. But ultimately, all the episode titles are the purview of the showrunner, Narain Shankar. So he would always, he might, you could pitch your title idea, but if he didn't like it, he would just change it. So most of the titles are Narain's idea, I would guess.
Right. Right. What would throw up some runner-ups of titles that you really wanted that didn't make the cut?
So my favorite was Dan
Belter.
Nowak.
Belters just want to have fun.
So this is episode 404. Dan Nowak pitched the idea that it should be called Episode Not Found, which which I thought, or just shorten it to Not Found, which I thought was a great fucking title. Dan Nowak had all the best title pitches. One of his title pitches was 0 G's, 0 F's, which I really liked.
You know, we're supposed to do, and if you and I weren't the worst two slackers on the planet, like we're supposed to do this damn Trimmers episode with Dan Nowak.
Yeah,
and
we need to do that.
And I think we got to do that. We need to do that over this Christmas break.
The thing is, we always talk about Dan when we're doing this, but the audience, all 8 of them, they've never met Dan. They don't understand how fucking hilarious he is. So we need to get him on the show for an hour, talk some Tremors, let people understand how funny he is. Then when you talk about him later, people will get it.
I wonder if Dan Nowak knows how famous we've made him. That there is 8 people walking around in this world that didn't know Dan Nowak's name that now knows his fucking name.
That totally know his name. Yep.
You're welcome, Dan Nowak. It's like Doc Holliday will make you famous. So this episode starts.
I thought that was Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, he was not Billy the Kid. Sorry,
Billy the Kid. Billy the Kid. Yeah.
Yeah. It was Emilio Estevez playing Billy the Kid in Young Guns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Not Doc Holliday.
Not Doc Holliday. It's not cool enough of a line for Doc Holliday.
Well, it's certainly not cool enough of a line for the Val Kilmer Doc Holliday.
Right. You remember do you remember the Dennis Quaid Doc Holliday and the Kevin Costner Wyatt Earp? And there was one line that made me giggle when he fell in the horse trough, and he goes, "You all can kiss my rebel dick."
Now he had one other really good line. It's where he walks into the bar and goes up to Ike Clanton and says, "I hear you've been telling everybody you're going to kill me. Pull out your gun and commence."
Right.
I like that line.
Yeah, I actually liked that movie. So here's the thing: when Tombstone came out, it sucked all the oxygen out, and as it should. And so I didn't even see Wyatt Earp till later, but it was like an HBO watch or something where it was just randomly on, and I enjoyed that movie. I really liked it.
It's a very truthful accounting of the Wyatt Earp story, much more truthful than Tombstone. But my favorite critique of it was Wyatt Earp. Why it's so long?
But truth has no place in great fiction. You know what I'm saying?
No, it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't.
But here's the thing, though, that I did think they spent a little time of him just out in their wilderness slaughtering buffalo. Like we get the point, like after a while. This episode starts right after Mercury slaughters those Belters. He is now in hot pursuit of Lucia. Naomi is protecting her, and she calls Amos to help them escape. But it is clear of what is happening in this scene because of you see Naomi pick up the phone and call, and then she explains to Holden what happened. But I do think, and this is something interesting to talk about process, I do think maybe, I think I remember we were in a rush that day because the way that it's edited, the story of the fight isn't as clear as it could be. And I'm going back and I'm watching this, and I remember what was in the page and what was in the script and how there was this dramatic tension of Amos getting his ass whooped, but he's, making sure they're leaving, and they're trying to sneak around the building. And I thought it was a way more interesting scene where now it's kind of, maybe we didn't get enough footage on the day, or maybe it's something with editing choices. Maybe we need to move it along, but they took all the tension out of it where it's just like he stops them, they sneak out, and then he follows. Whereas in the moment they were trying to get to her, and it was, so do you remember what those choices?
The question always is, when you see stuff like that, is what did the director actually deliver? And I'm not throwing any directors under the bus here. That this is always the question, no matter who the director is. What did they actually give you?
Unless it's Breck Eisner.
Unless it's Breck Eisner,
you're going under the bus, baby.
Yeah, Breck Eisner goes under the bus every time. But what did they give you? What pieces did they give you? Because, of course, editing is assembling a jigsaw puzzle. That's what it is. You're taking all these little bits that directors have given you, and you're trying to assemble them into a story. So sometimes the story you're trying to build out of the pieces that you've been given doesn't work. And that's not the director's fault necessarily. It's not the script's fault necessarily. Sometimes it's just the way it went. Like you said, maybe we're in a hurry. We didn't get quite as much coverage as we might have liked. There can be 1,000 reasons why that happens. So I'm not bashing anybody here. But sometimes you get in the editing room, you're looking at all the material, and you're just like, we'd like to tell this version of the story, and we just don't have the footage to support that. So the choice you can make is you can try to force that version of the story, even though you really don't have the footage to support it, and then it just looks like a bad edit. Or you can say, okay, what version of the story can we tell with the material that we have? And then you try to find what story is the film able to tell, and then you tell that version of the story. And every time you're in the editing booth, it's that conversation. What is the story that we can tell with the material that we've got? So let me tell you a story. So Narain Shankar, our showrunner, who's been working in TV showrunning for 25 years now, is one of the top guys in the business as a showrunner. He started out way back in the 80s. One of the first shows he was on was a show called Sequest. Do you remember Sequest with the dolphin? It was produced by Steven Spielberg. Anyway, he was a lowly staff writer on that show. And
it would have been cooler. It's a cooler story if he started off on Magnum PI, but go ahead.
That would be a cooler story, but he's not that cool. So he's working on Sequest. They gave him one of his first scripts that he ever wrote for the show. So he wrote a script. They shot the script, and he's walking through the studio lot. This is back when most TV shows were produced on a lot, right? He's walking through the studio lot, and the showrunner comes whipping by on a golf cart and goes, "Shankar, we're editing your episode. Jump in the car. We're jumping the cart. We're gonna go edit your show." And Narain goes, "Oh, okay. I'd love to do that. Let me go get my script." And the showrunner yells at him, "The script is dead. The script is dead. Let's go see what the movie is." And what Narain says he learned in that moment was, it doesn't matter what you wrote in the script. What matters is what the director actually shot. So let's go watch all the things the director shot, and let's see what movie we can make out of those things. And really, it was a transformative moment for him as a TV writer and later as a showrunner. And it's a really important lesson to learn that it doesn't matter what anyone's intention was. Once the movie has been shot, once you have things on film, those things can only support a certain number of interpretations of the story, and you got to go see what that is. So that's a super long-winded answer to your question, but I don't know what the specific choices that were being made that led to what you're talking about. But that's always the process.
Yeah. And if you get a fantastic editor like a Hal Ashby in the heat of the night, they can elevate your movie by choosing, by what scenes they choose and how they hold tension and looks. And when you're running behind and you're shooting a scene and you're running behind and you know you're not getting the footage, you're just getting the ABCs of the scene. You get your master, you're over the shoulders, and then you're out. Yeah. You know that scene is not going to be as nuanced, as interesting as it can be. And for instance, like we did that Die Hard special, and we talked. I don't want to talk everybody's ear off by Die Hard, but all right, I'll go back to the first Matrix. You think about the first Matrix, the editing in the first Matrix, how they're telling this elaborate adventure action scene and everybody's point of view, you know what everybody's doing. And on top of that, they're floating and fucking diving over buildings and falling over shit and like defying gravity and physics. But you always know what's going on, and how they make an action scene so much more interesting is when to cut to the face, when to show the actual action, when to cut to the thing. And it's an art form. You know, and I guess this scene didn't upheld the art form version of what it could be,
or the film that they had to work with. This is the version of the story that we could tell. I don't want to throw the editor under the bus.
This conversation we're having is not anybody going under the bus. It's like it's really about. It was probably end of day. We're losing light.
Yeah,
and we had an elaborate action scene, but things got pushed. Things happen. Things break down. Sets things. Yep. And so we probably had to shoot it as fast as we could, but it was too many point of views, too many people to really. So the editing probably pulled off a beautiful, with what he had to work with. But I think it's interesting to call these things out because I feel like on the page it could have been better, but this happens all the time, and it's like you making those choices. Again, going forward, like I understand Murtry's side of this. This is what makes. By the way, this is Dole is great in this episode.
Yeah,
Burn Gorman is fantastic. We call him Dole. We did the whole thing like that. But I think he's just really good. And once the ball is rolling, and Holden calls him, and he's like, "What the fuck you think you're doing?" And he is just unflapped. And he's like, I don't have time right now, and it's just, he does a great job. But I understand him. I mean, she blew up his fucking ship. And these guys were planning on putting a hit on him, and he's defending himself. One of the coolest things in this episode is, so Naomi is taking Lucia back to the ship, and they get pinned down by Murtry and his men right before she gets to the ship. So Naomi pulls out her comm, and she's got the baddest wingman anybody could ever imagine with the Rocinante. And this like 50 cal comes out of shoots out of the thing, boom, 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 just blowing this stuff out. And I was like, it would be a cool spinoff is if we did the Michael Knight version with Holden and the Rossi, and the Rossi talks to him, and he goes and solves crime across the universe, and the Rossi could have William Daniels' voice. Or is that not cool?
I think that's a really good idea, and we should totally do that. But I will, for the record, the Rossi's PDCs are not 50 cals. They are 40 millimeter cannons. That's a gigantic fucking round. Yeah. That is 40 millimeter high explosive rounds coming in, hitting all around you. That's definitely going to make you take cover.
40 and at the touch of your finger. You would never be worried again. Like, I think Murtry at that point would be like, all right, what the fuck am I going to do? Like you have the Rossi in your back corner. Like, that's game over.
So speaking of editing, there's a moment there that we lost for pace, which I always regretted because we filmed it and it was amazing. And watching it in the dailies was so fun. When she activates the thing, if you notice, you can still kind of see it if you frame by frame through it. There's two of Murtry's guys are guarding the walkway to the Rossi to make sure nobody gets in. When that gun pops out and fires, the shockwave blows those two guys off of the screen.
Yeah.
The shockwave of the gun firing.
Yes, I remember, because when I first saw that, I was like, did they just fucking kill those guys? But it was the shockwave of that blowing. And, the Rossi has really has become a character at this point, because I was like, fuck yeah, Rossi. And also we fun fact to all our 8 fans listening, we just did season 6 after show, and we shot that in Amazon. So we just went through the whole thing in season 6.
Well, but the first couple episodes of that after show have already come out.
That is correct. What, 2?
Yeah. 2 so far.
2 so far. But the Rossi has become a character. It's like it's a friend. It's an ally. And when I see that, I have affection for it. When it started blasting away with that 40 cal, I was like, God damn it! Like, this is the Rossi's in our corner. He's got our back. Like, it's a beautiful thing.
And the Rossi is not a he. The Rossi is definitely a she.
Yeah, you're right. Did I say he?
Now I'm not one of those people that thinks all ships have to be she's. That's certainly got some weird gender shit tied up in it. But the Rossi herself is definitely a she. Named after a woman that Amos knew. He paints the picture on her.
It's not named after her.
No, but has the same name as a woman.
It has the same name. I mean, it has. Was the Rocinante? Was the Don Quixote's horse?
It was Don Quixote's horse. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Don Quixote's horse. Was that a female or a male?
I don't remember if Rocinante was ever said to be a stallion or a mare. I don't know. I don't remember.
Wow.
It was an old broken down horse, but I don't remember what its gender was.
There was a great, beautiful visual moment when Holden and Murtry stare off at each other. And it's like, it's in this desolate landscape. It has the big, wide John Ford, shot of them like standing off. And then it has him. Their frames are a little bit off center, like those classic Westerns when they're standing off looking at each other. And then Holden walks up to Murtry and just slaps the fuck out of him. And that was a nice surprise because he was headed towards Mercury. And, you know, Holden is not the one to like lose his temper like this. And then I don't remember this scene, and he walks up and just beats his fucking ass. I was like, hell yeah, Holden, I can have it. And he's like, you're not in charge anymore. And he took the gun. But that was a great visual Western moment.
Yeah, well, and I still to this day regret that we didn't give, you know, Holden some lines like, skin that smoke wagon and get to work. You know, what are you going to do? Just stand there and bleed?
And bleed? What are you going to do? Just stand there and bleed? Skin that smoke wagon and get to work.
I'm telling you to throw down, boy.
Oh my God. Well, you know, the Kurt Russell mustache in that movie, that is a sight to behold. That's a good looking mustache.
By the way, if you go ahead and grow the full Kurt Russell Wyatt Earp stash, that will be the greatest thing you have ever done with your life. And I know you've had 2 children. I know you've made a bunch of TV shows and movies. That stash will still be the greatest piece of work you've ever done.
The only problem is that stash will probably take a couple weeks to grow, and I won't be having sex during those couple weeks. And and I don't think I'm strong enough. I don't think I can hold off.
You don't have the internal fortitude.
I do not have the internal fortitude. So Bobby's having a bad day as usual. Some shit's not going right for her. She tries to salvage her last bit of dignity. She goes to the foreman and is like, God damn it, I was blackmailed. I did this. I was the one. I was in charge, and I'm ready for my consequence. And he was like, hey, so, you know, there's no worry, but if you're into that, maybe we can get a business going. And she's like, God damn, what the hell's happening? She says something that puts it a lot in the right context and perspective, is that she says at some point that she's never met anybody that was unemployed up until now. And, you know, when she goes to the Veterans Club and she's there for trying to find a job and talking, she goes, look, have faith in Mars, we'll take care of you. But the lady that said it, she didn't believe it. It was like half-hearted. So like this whole idea of Mars is starting to fall apart, and all of these people are losing their purpose as Mars itself is losing its purpose. There's a certain loss of identity. You know, it's like Roosevelt creating the work programs, because it was more about just giving people a focus, to be able to wake up and have dignity and agency over there. And he knew that mindset was such a big part of our recovery after the Depression. Yeah. And so you're seeing the inverse of that.
And the thing that happens, and this was really, really true we model a lot of this on the fall of the Soviet Union. When those institutions go away, when the Soviet Union fell apart, and the institutions that people had spent 50 years building up were just gone overnight, the thing that replaces them is corruption. You know, I mean, there's a reason why most of the NKVD became gangsters. You know, the KGB guys, they all became gangsters because the world that they had supported, where their paycheck came from, just went away, and the skill sets that they had were no longer useful, except as criminals. And you know what you saw, the fall of the Soviet Union and the rise of the Russian mafia. And the Russian mafia, there's no doubt, it's like one of the most powerful organizations in Russia now. And it's all former, Soviet officers running it.
When people lose their purpose and then they get in survival mode, that is when people are most scary and willing to do if you're taking away people's way of life, and then you're in a country and it's in a free-for-all, and then you don't know what the structure of your society is, you don't know what if all of your morality and your principles are all wrapped up into a state, into an ideology, and that thing crumbles, then you don't have any compass. You don't have any moral compass to guide yourself with.
Well, and I think the other thing that it does is it leaves you very cynical. And what we're seeing with Bobby is we're seeing her growing cynicism, because it's exactly what you're talking about. She spent her whole life and a life of privation. I mean, you were in the military, somebody who goes into a special operations group, really the level of dedication and commitment to that lifestyle that requires, most people will never understand that level of dedication and commitment. Yeah. She was in a special operations group. She was one of those military units that's the tip of the spear. The level of dedication and commitment to being at that level means that you give up on things. She didn't really have a steady boyfriend. She never got married. She didn't have kids. She didn't do any of those things. What she did was utterly focus on this career of being the peak military unit for the Martian military. And when she sees that that's all crumbling, when she sees that the thing she's dedicated her life to is going away, how can you not become cynical? Like, I don't see how a person survives that without some cynicism.
And it's a generational commitment.
It's a generational commitment. You're 100% right.
And that whole thing crumbles. I mean, it's that much stronger, because here's the thing. I think you and I would have folded a lot sooner. I think we would have turned to the dark. Oh yeah, I would be the first news feed of like Mars is like falling apart. I'd be like, all right, what you want to buy some guns? What do you want? I'm here like I'm checking out of this bitch.
Like the foreman who says to her, "We can keep doing this and we can make some money." He actually, I think, is the character that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah,
I understand that guy. He's looking, he's going, this shit is all going to fall apart. I better make a little bank here. I better put a little money aside for a rainy day, because the rainy days are fucking coming, right? I get that guy.
And he says to her, you didn't sell weapons. Like, nobody got hurt. We're not hurting anybody. Right. This stuff's just going to rot on a shelf. Like, he sees that this thing is over.
He's justifying it to himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get that. And I understand why a person goes that direction. It makes sense to me.
And she goes to a bar where veterans drink for free, and I think that's a great policy. I'd like more bars to adopt that policy.
Yeah. Except if you are a bar that lets veterans drink for free, and Wes Chatham walks in the front door, you are going out of business. Yeah, Wes will single-handedly bankrupt your bar.
But so she gets hammered and she comes home, and goddamn, like, if she's not having a worse day, then the cops show up. And the foreman did this, right? The foreman, because he's like, well, I guess I got to cover my ass. Yeah, he turned her in. I guess I got to cover my ass and have it in there. And then she goes to jail drunk. Yeah, so Bobby goes to jail. And who does she call?
She calls our boy, the priest from the Catholic father from The Sopranos.
Yes. She calls him because at this point she didn't have anybody else to call. So you guys did a great job of really backing her in a corner to make the decision that she was going to make. And who she was when we first see her, you have got to back her in a wall where you fully believe it and make it to where she has no other choice. Yeah. And that's one that to me is one of the things that gets frustrating when I see when I'm watching something or reading something where I'm like, well, I don't think they would have made that choice at that point. They didn't get pushed far enough.
Well, and part of what we're doing with Bobby, and this was, Narain really made this an important part of season 4. It was, because this stuff isn't in the books. The stuff that's happening to Bobby is not in the books. But what Narain wanted to do is, he said, in the books, the collapse of Mars sort of happens off screen, which is a fair criticism. It does. It happens off screen. We hear about it happening, but we don't see it from the inside. And Narain's point was, in the show, we have a real opportunity here to use Bobby as our window into the collapse of Mars and what that means for the people of Mars and why what's happening to Mars is happening. And I thought that was a really good writing choice. Narain's a smart guy. That was a really good writing choice. So Bobby becomes our window into the growing cynicism of Mars, the growing corruption of Mars, the loss of faith in the institutions and government of Mars. So in order to get her in a position where she could be our window into that, we had to really break her down. We had to take away all the things she believed in, all the things she counted on. And so these 4 episodes really are the process of that, stripping away all the beliefs that she had and leaving her searching for a new thing to attach herself to. That is the point of all of this. And I think Narain's note was right. And I really enjoy watching the collapse of Mars from the inside, from Bobby's perspective, because Bobby is the true believer. And the best version of watching this collapse is from the perspective of the true believer. You want to see them have their beliefs taken away.
So Ashford and Drummer, they capture Marco Naros.
Did I over explain?
No, you hit the nail on the head. That's a great, you closed the book on that one. So that's great. Ashford and Drummer, they capture Marco Naros. This is a hard scene for me to watch. It's like, God damn, you could kill him. You're right there. Yeah. And this was a very skillfully written scene. It was very skillfully shot, and it was very skillfully acted. You want to talk a little bit about the creation of the scene with the different factions and why Drummer ultimately made the decision that she made?
Well, so there's a lot of backstory here, and I'll try to skim through it as quickly as possible. But one of the things that Daniel and I hate is monolithic societies.
Actors.
We hate actors. But the thing we hate second most to actors is in sci-fi, there is this tendency to create monolithic societies. That, in Star Trek, you go to the planet of people who like flowers. And when you go there, everybody wears the same outfit. Everybody loves flowers. That's the planet that likes flowers. And then you go to a different planet, and they're the planet that likes rocks. And everybody likes rocks, and everybody has the same outfit on. We hate that. And so what we wanted to do with the Belters is demonstrate that the Belters are not a monolithic society. They don't all agree about stuff. They don't all have the same attitude about things. There's a lot of different factions that have very sometimes aligned, but sometimes competing ideologies about things. So when they capture Marco, he's one of these factions. He's the leader of one of these factions. There's a whole bunch of other factions. There's, in this particular scene, Matar Kubalaya, and there's Golden Bow, and there's Black Sky. There's all these different factions of the Belters, and they don't always agree on everything. And what Drummer's put in the position of realizing is this fucking guy, Marco, has convinced enough people in the Belt that he's right about what's about to happen. That if I just arbitrarily kill him, the Belt will experience civil war. Because there will be all the people who agree with killing Marco, and there will be all the people who don't agree with killing Marco. And instead of fighting with the inners, which is what they're supposed to be doing, they'll be fighting with each other. And this will be the end of the idea of a unified Belter state, which is what Fred and Dawes and Drummer have all been working for, is this idea that they can come as a unified state and compete with the inner planets. And this will be the end of that dream. And she makes the very difficult decision, rather than end that dream, it's better to let this piece of shit go, let him fuck up one more time, then we'll all agree on killing him, and then we can all remain unified. That is the math that she's doing in her head in this moment.
So the weight she's carrying in season 6 is like tenfold, because there was a moment where she could have eliminated him.
She could have eliminated him.
You know how they do on Harry Potter, Clint's favorite movie that he always talks about? But you know how they do in Harry Potter, how they do the different factions of are you House are you House Dumbledore, or are you House Slytherin, or all those things? We should do the same we should do the same personality test for like, what faction of the Belter are you? Are you Golden Bow, or are you Black Sky, or
my fear is that I'm definitely Black Sky.
Why are you Black Sky?
Because they're the ones who just shove people out airlocks and try to blow up a Vossarella.
And don't like people, and don't like their people. Families.
Yeah, they're just like, the Black Sky is like, fuck you, I'm going to blow you up. And I'm like, I kind of feel like that's who I'd be.
If you had, so how you were talking about earlier, the Star Trek planets where you have the planet where people like rocks, and they all like rocks. I wonder what the planet of Tais Franks would be.
Okay, so here's what it would be. It would be a planet of people that none of them ever visited anyone else on the planet. It would be like this weird hermit planet.
It would be a planet where nobody knew how many, like they had no idea how many other people were on the planet, because they didn't care. They didn't care. It would be one man and one Thai and one Janae in each house, and that's it. That's it.
And like 1,000 acres around that house, so they couldn't see any of their other houses.
And then every now and then a Thai will, one of the Thais would get shot because it would accidentally stumble into another Thai's land. Or if one Thai like needed some water or a glass of milk or to borrow some sugar, they would get shot because they went into the other Thai's land.
Those are the stupid Thais, and they need to be shot.
Because there are a few stupid Thais on the planet, because if there wasn't, who would you guys get to shoot?
Yeah, I mean, it's as a percentage. There's going to be some stupid ones.
And they would have like their own tribe, the stupid tribes, stupid Thais.
No. No, you misunderstand. The planet of Tais has no tribes. Every tribe on the planet of Tais is a tribe of two.
But the Tais the stupid Tais have to be a tribe. That's what happens is that the stupid Tais have to band together because the other Tais are killing them all. So they got to band together and start a tribes. So the regular Tais are like,
even the stupid Tais aren't banding it with anybody. No,
but
even
I
the
think
stupid ones.
That's the movie, is that the stupid Tais are trying to overthrow the regular Tais and coming in there. You know, the stupid Tais were like,
we don't think that one smart Thai tries to subjugate a bunch of stupid Thais to gain like a more powerful Thai coalition?
No.
To get a larger acreage?
No,
because that would take too much energy and motivation, and the smart Thai would not have that. That's too much work.
The thing with the Thai planet is nobody wants to do anything more than they have to. Like,
what's the movie?
Space Amazon is delivering all of our food. Space Amazon's delivering all of our books and movies. Like, we're never leaving our houses. Like, we're doing the minimum necessary.
They would do mean things to stupid Tais, but that's about as far as it would go. You know, like. Yeah. But what was the movie where the what's the movie? They kidnap Lovitz kidnaps somebody's because he falls in love with her, and then there's one of the scenes, like there's a bomb that says "pick me up," and they pick it up and it disintegrates him, and they drop the bomb on another guy. It's like a planet of stupid people. What is this movie? You know what I'm talking about?
Is that's not the Mike Judge.
The principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
It's not Idiocracy, is it?
No, it's not Idiocracy.
Okay.
It's so the principal in Ferris.
Mom and Dad Save the World.
I think that's it. Is that?
Wow, I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
Oh, dude.
Anyway, we should get off the planet of Tais now because this is a boring topic, and we're down to like 4 listeners, so we should get back on something that people give a shit
speak for yourself.
about.
The planet of the Tais is hilarious, and the tribe of stupid Tais that keep getting murdered by the smart Tais. I love that. Oh yeah, Terry Garr. Okay, so Terry Garr is Mom and Dad Save the World. Jeffrey Jones is married to Terry Garr, and John Lovitz steals. I said Lyle Lovitz. John Lovitz steals Terry Garr, kidnaps, takes her to a planet, and it's a planet of stupid people. And then there's like, and they have like one of the secret. They battle each other, and one of the secret weapons is that they throw a grenade over, and it lands in the secret army's camp. And they look over, and it says "Pick me up." And they pick it up, and they disintegrate, and the bomb falls. And the next guy walks and says, "Pick me up," and they pick it up, and it disintegrates. And so it just wipes out this whole army. It was really great. But speaking of movies, today is our Christmas special. So we thought it'd be fitting to do our top 5 Christmas movies of all time. Before you say Die Hard, we just did a Die Hard special where we talked about the movie for ad nauseum. And so that,
I think we talked about Die Hard for 17 and a half hours.
17 and a half hours. So, and we could do it again, but we're down to 4 listeners now. We don't want to lose you guys. We need you.
Yeah, we need the 4.
We need the 4, the power 4. So, obviously Die Hard is number 0. So we can just move on from there. Yeah. I'm gonna,
by the way,
list out.
I'm drinking in honor of Nakatomi Plaza. I am drinking a Japanese whiskey tonight. So, ho, ho, ho. Now I have a machine gun.
Ho, ho. Ho. Now I have a machine gun. That's a genius choice to have the last ho. Like tug
when he pulls the shirt down. Yeah.
And he takes his time to read the last ho. Oh, man. Oh, see, we're going down the rabbit hole. We're going down the rabbit hole.
Anyway, so non-Die Hard good Christmas movies. Go ahead.
Miracle on 30... Well, this is the poll. This is the pool. Miracle on 34th Street. Scrooged with Bill Murray. We should do like a subcategory of all the Christmas carols because of our favorite, because George C. Scott is the best Christmas carol, so maybe we just go ahead and he's the best Scrooge. Home Alone, White Christmas, A Christmas Story, Elf, Christmas Vacation, It's a Wonderful Life, Santa Claus, Lethal Weapon, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Grinch, Charlie Brown Christmas, Love Actually, Night Before Christmas, Family Stone, Bad Santa, Meet Me in St. Louis, The Polar Express, Fred Claus, Christmas with the Cranks, Jingle All the Way, Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, Frosty the Snowman, Christmas in Connecticut, and The Four Christmases.
Okay, so I'm going to start out by saying it's shocking to me how few of those I've seen.
You don't need to see.
For me, the only Christmas movies I give a shit about are the funny ones. So for me, the automatic list is Scrooged, Christmas Vacation, thank you,
Elf.
No, well, I'm not as big a fan of Elf as a lot of other people are. I'm going to put Lethal Weapon on my list because it's not funny, but it's Lethal Weapon. So Lethal Weapon is the movie that holds the number 2 spot to Die Hard as greatest action movie ever made. So that one's pretty automatic. But yeah, the funny ones are the ones I like.
We need to do a Lethal Weapon watch party because the thing about it's not like Die Hard. Die Hard's a perfect movie. Lethal Weapon's got tons of flaws. It's got tons of things that it just goes over with.
No. Lethal Weapon is great because of its flaws. Lethal Weapon is that's
the thing. It's like that's the point I'm making is it has all these flaws, but you don't care.
You don't care.
You don't care.
You don't care at all. Yeah.
Man, we need to get somebody on here that gives us a little pushback because we're in lockstep. Scrooge, the Bill Murray Scrooged, that's my go-to.
I'm right here, Wes. What do you want me to do? Tell you guys are wrong all the time?
He's going to start explaining to us that Harry Potter is the best Christmas movie or some shit like that.
Yeah, you notice Harry Potter is not on the list.
Yeah.
The best Christmas movie, and watch, here's my prediction. Ty completely gets in line right behind me. The best Christmas movie is LA Confidential.
Oh my God. Yes, LA Confidential is so fucking good. Yeah, okay. All
Boom!
Right. Clint is not wrong. Clint is not wrong.
But explain how that's a Christmas movie.
It takes place entirely at Christmas, and there's a Christmas massacre. Bud is off getting booze for the police Christmas party. Yeah, when the action all starts, it is entirely around the Christmas season.
Could you take Christmas out of the movie and it still be a movie?
Well, all those fine people in the Night Owl Diner would have been alive, Wes.
Yeah.
They would have been massacred. It just wouldn't be called the Christmas Massacre. It's not like they changed like that. But look, it's such a great movie. I'll concede that point.
It's also got Kim Basinger playing Veronica Lake, which is to me like two of the things
double sexy.
Yeah, it's double sexy. It's two of the things that carbonate my hormones, crossing the streams. Yeah, Kim Basinger as a Veronica Lake lookalike is like, I think Veronica Lake is the most classic era movie star that I still have a huge affection for.
So Scrooged, man, that movie kills me. Bill Murray is so good in this movie. And even, like when she lays the picture down, the newspaper down, and is like, this is what happened. It's the headline of this old lady that got killed because she saw the trailer. And he goes, who's that? She's pretty. Just like the little like things that he does. If you go back and watch that movie, he's just having fun the whole time. He's just doing like crazy shit in the thing that doesn't really, like when he's drinking a scotch and he's, it's incredible. I love Scrooge. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. Christmas Vacation, it is up there with Scrooge. It could go either way, but it's a classic. It's a fucking classic. Yeah. And we did our top 5 Christmas Vacations, so we all know how we feel about it. Lethal Weapon, second greatest action movie of all time. Probably, for me, Riggs is probably one of my first favorite action characters of all time. I love Riggs.
And Clint, and that's fuck you for disagreeing. I'm preemptively fucking you for disagreeing.
You're preemptively fucking him?
Preemptively fucking him.
He's preemptively fucking you right now in his mind.
Now,
just go with
right
it.
now. Just enjoy it, Clint.
I love Lethal Weapon. I was moved, but this preemptive fucking has turned me. Fuck this movie.
But look, let me just say, and obviously it's become apparent that we're going to do, we need to do a watching special of this movie because there's so much to talk about. But the first turn is in that first dinner that you're talking about. And the first turn in the relationship is when he's walking to the car and he says, I've always been good at it, did a guy in Laos, however many yards out.
It's the only thing I've ever been good at.
Yeah, it's the only thing I've ever been good at. And basically he explains to him the job is why I'm alive. The job is the only thing keeping me alive. And then they have that bonding moment, and then Murtaugh says, "Hey, Riggs, you like my wife's cooking?" And he goes, "No." And he gets in the car. So now they have their first spark of this love, and that is a male love story, a male and male love story. And you didn't get any of those in the 80s.
Lethal Weapon is absolutely a romance. A non-sexual romance between Murtaugh and Riggs. Those two guys fall in love with each other, and become the closest of friends because of that. And I hate the term bromance because I think it trivializes male friendship, and I think male friendship already has a lot of bullshit it has to deal with. But I think showing two men learning to love each other as friends is not a thing you saw a lot of in the 80s, man. Just what you just said. Like,
no. Hey, something just dawned on me. I think you and I are the Murtaugh and Riggs of the podcast world.
I think you and I are the Murtaugh and Riggs of the world. Don't limit us. Don't limit us to podcast.
I think the world, and when I say world, the 8 people that listen to this are watching us fall in love platonically.
We fell in love years ago on set in the high pressure environment of shooting a TV show. But it's funny that you say that because, like,
I'm trying to manufacture an arc.
But I'm agreeing with your arc. You've got the family, you've got the kids. I've stayed at your house. Right. I've hung out with your kids. Yeah. I buy presents for your kids. We've murdered people together. That makes me the Riggs of the relationship. By the way, I also have the long hair. That makes me the Riggs of the relationship. You're the Murtaugh. And
I got the Murtaugh.
You got the Murtaugh stash, dude.
We murdered people together.
Well, but we do, but we don't talk about it on the podcast.
No, because did you ever see that spoof of the guy singing a song about, and he's singing about like all of the crimes that his friends do, and his friends are in the back, they're in the background being like, the fuck, dude? He's like, yeah, and he kills somebody, and he lives at this thing. Like, you ever see that? It's funny.
No, I have not seen that.
What's Clint's art? Like, we dislike Clint, and it grows to
no. I can tell you exactly what Clint's arc is. I have it exactly. Okay. So you remember this? Remember the psychiatrist on Lethal Weapon who's like telling Danny Glover to look at because Riggs is crazy and everybody hates her? That's lady? Clint. Clint is the psychiatrist. Clint is the cop psychiatrist.
I love it.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm the pretty lady.
Yeah, you're the pretty lady.
The pretty lady.
Yep.
And what about me?
And Joseph is the captain of the unit who's he's tired, he's sick of our shit. He's like, God damn it, can you stop blowing this shit up? Yeah, that's who Joseph is.
Joseph's like, Riggs, get in here!
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You are right, Ty. And turn down your mic.
See, all right, see, there you go. There you go. Captain telling me to turn my mic down.
No. Joseph's the Joe Pesci.
No. Joseph is the captain. Clint wishes he was the Joe Pesci, but he's actually the psychiatrist.
Before we start this podcast, he has that, that quintessential cop moment where the captain's like, Riggs and Murtaugh, get in here.
Yeah.
This is cost the city $50,000. Remember?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
that's
no. Joseph starts that with like, Wes, Ty, get in here. You turned your things off too soon last time, and I didn't get the full download. Your mic is too high. You're clipping. Dude, can you change your battery camera battery camera? I've had a lot of Japanese whiskey. Your camera battery So that your camera doesn't turn off.
Or, hey, Wes and Ty, how about returning an email? Huh? Like,
yeah,
we got to get the show going.
Joseph has to ride our asses like a classic TV cop sergeant, or Wes and I would never get anything done. So Joseph is constantly cracking the whip
to get this podcast put together. Because Lord knows we can't rely on fucking Clint.
No.
He's
too busy psychoanalyzing us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what a Merry Christmas we had. Oh, actually,
by the way, what was our top 5? Did you?
Okay, yeah. I was about to say we left a movie out, and I want to put an argument for what I think should be number 5. Scrooge number 1. I wholeheartedly endorse this. Christmas Vacation number 2. Lethal Weapon number 3. LA Confidential threw me off because I'm surprised I didn't see that as a Christmas movie, but your arguments stand, and I love the movie so much that I will.
It's a brilliant
I will allow
movie.
it. Yeah. So number 5. Now I'm going to go traditional on number 5, and you can push back and we can talk about it. But It's a Wonderful Life, because people reference it all the time in movies and talk about it. It's become this thing. If you go back and watch it from a storytelling point of view and from a movie making point of view, and without the benefit of having It's the Wonderful Life to copy, it's a masterpiece of a movie. It is extremely well done. It is a beautifully told story, and I think it should be on number 5.
I agree with all of those things that you just said. I think it is a beautifully directed, beautifully acted movie, and I had never seen it before as a kid, and I decided I was going to watch it as an adult, and I sat down and watched it, and it was the most boring fucking thing I'd ever seen in my life. But I think all of the things you said are true. I think it is beautifully acted. Jimmy Stewart's, obviously he's a legend of acting for a reason. The directing is very good. The directing is really interesting directing. It's a beautifully told story that I don't give a shit about, so it bored the fuck out of me. But I think everything you said is right, so I agree with you.
Do you think stupid Tais on your planet like It's a Wonderful Life, and that's why the smart Tais hate them?
If anybody on the Thai planet is dumb enough to like It's a Wonderful Life, then they deserve to be shot when they walk on my property.
They deserve what they got coming to them.
They deserve what they got coming.
I don't know. I drew a blank in my mind because the George C. Scott Scrooge Christmas Carol I think should be number 5. I think he's the greatest Scrooge. A Christmas Carol. I read that book a lot. Once a year. That book moves me. I think it's so. I would say George C. Scott, The Christmas Carol, could be number 5 slot.
Yeah,
Muppet Christmas Carol's the definitive Christmas Carol.
Wow.
That's
wow.
That's fake news.
Wow.
Joseph, can you mute his feed?
Yeah. Can we just mute Clint?
Yeah.
Like no. Look, like to Clint's credit, I love Muppets. I do. I'm a child man. I love me some Muppets. So Muppet Christmas Carol, I enjoy it because it has Muppets and I like Muppets. Is it better than is Kermit better than George C. Scott? I don't think anyone would argue Kermit is better than George C. Scott.
Is Michael Caine, is he better than George C. Scott? No. Because it's Michael Caine, right? Is it Michael Caine in The Muppets Christmas?
It's Michael Caine, and when you put it that way, maybe I might like Michael Caine more than George C. Scott.
Wow.
What?
You know what? Did Michael Caine ever play Patton? I don't think he did.
Well, did George C. Scott ever play Alfie? I don't get the argument.
Okay,
that's the thing in his favor. You just lost your own argument.
Yeah, George. So Patton versus Alfie. Patton would fuck Alfie up. Patton would beat the shit out of Alfie while saying, "Stop being such a whiny little bitch, Alfie. Stop crying." He'd be smacking the shit out of him.
Clint's rebuttal to Patton, George C. Scott and Patton was like, "Oh yeah, well, did he ever play
Alfie? Come on.
What about Alfie?"
Next, Clint's going to argue, did George C. Scott kill Jaws?
That's strike two.
Neither did Michael Caine.
No, he didn't kill Jaws. He defeated the desert fox. George C. Scott defeated the Desert Fox. He defeated Rommel in Africa. He doesn't have to kill some fucking shark. It was Jaws 3.
It was Jaws 3, which, if you read his biography, he only did that for money. And he
only did that for money.
And he hated being there. So, again, Joseph, you just lost Clint his argument. Double. Yeah. He's double lost.
I was arguing that this was going to be Clint's next flawed argument.
Oh, so you were saying you were coming in and saying Clint is so dumb that his next argument is going to be Jaws 3. Okay, point taken. So Clint, you've lost doubly.
So basically what Joseph is saying is that on the Thai planet, the dumb Thais are Clint's.
There's the
guys. This roasting is ruining Christmas.
on the Thai planet, there's
Clint. I am the ghost of Christmas past right now.
There's the dumb Thais and just the Clints.
Okay, now. We like
Nobody
to
likes the Clints.
We like to bust some balls here. Hold on. I gotta say, we like to bust some balls here, as Joe Pesci would say. We like to bust some balls. Having said all of that, we still love Clint, no matter how dumb and wrong he is. We love him to death.
God bless us, everyone.
That's a Christmas message. That's the Christmas miracle, is that we still love Clint.
If we didn't love Clint, we wouldn't give him a hard time. If we give people a hard time on the show, that means we love them. If you want to see how we behave with people we don't like, watch us interview Brick Eisner.
Yeah.
And no, I'm kidding. We love Brick Eisner too.
Wes and I are the same way in this. If we hate you, we ignore you. If we love you, we tease you,
ridicule you.
Yeah.
But the one thing that the smart and dumb Tais, the only thing they agree on is they both don't like the Clints.
Well, he keeps showing up at our door to proselytize some Harry Potter bullshit. We don't care about that.
And he dresses as Harry. He cosplays as Harry Potter.
Now, what is the over-under on Clint has definitely cosplayed Harry Potter? Like, what do you think the odds on that are, Wes? That Clint has cosplayed Harry Potter? Some character in Harry Potter.
Like sexually?
I know the answer to this, so I can't participate because I know.
All right.
Yeah. So I guess the odds are 100% he dresses as Harry Potter every time he makes love to his wife. Clint might want you to cut that out, so just be aware.
No, that stays.
That stays. No, that stays. The people need to know I am who I am. This was a very, very fun Christmas special. Ho, ho, ho. Thank you guys for coming out. Clint, we love you. And I guess let's have our podcast Christmas arc, which you just kind of did, Ty. Yeah. You kind of explained. But the reality is that Ty and I are both insecure males. And so when we truly love somebody,
insecure man-child.
Insecure man-child. So when we truly love somebody, we make fun of them as hard as we can, and that's how we show our affection. And Clint and Joseph, we're thankful for all you do for the show, and we love you guys.
Yep, and thank you. And I want to say an additional Christmas thank you to all the patrons who now have ensured that we can pay Joseph for his work. We really appreciate that. It's a lovely Christmas spirit that we can actually pay the people who work on the show now. And I'm sure Joseph's family, who no longer has to eat shoes boiled in hot water as soup, I'm sure they appreciate it too.
Wait, he had shoes? We were paying too much.
No. You find old shoes that other people have thrown out, and then you boil them in water, and you make shoe soup. Yeah. And they no longer have to do that, and we greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Joseph is Cratchit in our Christmas Carol story. You better only be burning one coal right now, Joseph.
One coal at a time. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to get out of here.
Oh yeah. Wes, talk about the sweater.
Yeah, Wes, talk about the sweater.
All right.
Wow, ooh, somebody's getting a little
spicy.
Whoa, Joseph, I take back everything I just said about you. You fucking
got a little spicy there.
Bossy.
Yeah.
Bossy Ben.
All right, so we had this raffle for a sweater worn by Wes Chatham. And I guarantee you that he got super sweaty in that sweater because he and I were together when he had it on. So he got so sweaty in that sweater. So the winner of that sweater not only gets a hideous Christmas sweater from the Expanse, but it is soaked through with Wes's juices. So if you value Wes juice, that sweater is a huge prize. Wes, who won that sweater?
Only my sweat juice.
Only sweat
Only
juice.
my sweat juice.
Only sweat juice. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want
Joseph,
to imply anything else.
Joseph, let everybody know who won the thing because you're revealing it to us as well.
Joseph, who won?
The winner of the Tying That Guy charity sweatshirt is Sam Mowry.
Oh!
Nice.
Okay, so this charity is called Brickworks, and one of their philosophies is that everybody that are trying to rise up, they have bricks in their life that is in the way, and their goal is to remove their bricks. And it's these two sweetheart ladies, and they created this thing, and what they're doing is identifying these people that have bricks in their lives and helping and raising money to remove these bricks. And it's just as simple or basic as people that need meals, people that aren't able to pay their energy bill this month. It's Christmas time. Some people can't get presents for their kids. And it's a really local, small charity, and they're doing beautiful work. They don't have a lot to give. And I think that the generosity of the people that listen to the show and what you guys contribute to the show, I said a little bit in my Instagram, but I felt like the Grinch when he learned the real I was like, just like the Grinch when he learned the real Christmas, the real spirit of Christmas and the real meaning of Christmas, when he heard the Who singing after he stole all their presents and his heart grew like 5 times. I feel like my heart grew 5 times. I mean, I got a little, teary-eyed when I was reading about this charity and reading about what we're going to be able to contribute to them, and they don't know what's coming. And I want to do a video of somehow honoring this charity and letting you guys know about it. And it's just and it's just a small local thing, and they're helping so many people. And this is going to be a very Merry Christmas to them. And I want to thank you guys so much, and we're so thankful.
Yeah, sometimes a little can do a lot, and if you target it correctly, and you guys did a lot to do a lot. So I think Wes has picked the right place to aim this, where what the generosity that the people have shown is going to do a shit ton for the people that this charity helps. So it's pretty dramatic. It's pretty dramatic how much help this is going to wind up being.
Community Brickworks.
Yeah,
Community Brickworks, South Fulton County, and I'm just so moved about the time and effort that they've put in to help their community and the people around them, and it's a really special thing. So thank you guys, and we will follow up with you with this charity and the impact of what you've done and how it's helped people. So thank you so much.
And there you go. There's the Christmas spirit right there. People proving once again that Die Hard is making the world a better place, because Ty and I were so moved by John McClane reconciling with his wife, Holly, and how he had a change of spirit. It was so moved to us that our heart grew like the Grinch's, and we found this charity that really spoke to us, and we raffled off this sweaty, disgusting sweater. It's not disgusting. I'm kidding. And you guys really just showed up and did this amazing thing. So it's really, we're all learning the true meaning of Christmas together. There you go.
Does the Planet of the Smart and Dumb Ties, do they have Christmas?
No, we celebrate Saturnalia because we're all Mithras. So we celebrate the slaughter of the bull by Ahriman, and the defeat of Ahriman the Serpent by Mithra. That is what we celebrate. But it happens on the same day as Christmas, so, you can fold the two together.
Community Brickworks guy.
There you go.
Say goodbye, Ty.
Goodbye, Ty.
Ho, 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 ho!